obviously the nature of the offense is we're tired of hearing about these offenses. It's the worst offense we can have. However, I mean, everybody has the right of being presumed innocent, you know, and we've got somebody sitting here for 30 days without a case even in your office, much less indicted yet. And I think that's a big problem that needs to be addressed. And it doesn't leave me a lot of, I think legally, probably required to do relief, because obviously the state couldn't be ready because you don't even have the case yet. And Mr. Stansberry has been charged with the offense of murder. The case has been filed and not indicted yet. Mr. Burbank was appointed to represent Mr. Stansberry. Ms. Holmes has joined in just with regard to filing an application for writ of habeas corpus seeking a bail reduction. And so we set it for this hearing. Mr. Stansberry's bond is currently set at $1.5 million. And Ms. Holmes, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I guess in regards to the case, we have limited information. All we have at this point is a PC affidavit, which is kind of generalized. I have met with Mr. Stansberry in regards to the allegation, and we do believe once we provide a packet, possibly once this case reaches the district attorney's office for the grand jury to review, then there may or may not be an indictment. We don't know at this point. Mr. Stansberry has been in custody since November 7th. I did meet with the intake division on yesterday. They do not have the case received at the district attorney's office at this point. It is still with the police department. And so we do not have a timeline on when this case may possibly come to the district attorney's office. Your Honor, Mr. Stansberry, with the current bond amount, we do believe that it is excessive in looking at the other individuals who are currently incarcerated. Mr. Stansberry has the highest bond at the jail, him and one other inmate. And looking at other individuals at the jail, especially those who have murder charges that are not indicted at this point, their bonds currently range from $250,000 to $350,000, and I do have those names if the court needs those. Your Honor, we are asking that in light of this, that Mr. Stansberry bond be reduced to a reasonable amount. He does have family here who will make sure that they secure his presence. Just briefly, although we don't have all the information, I can say from what I do know that in regards to this particular case, Mr. Stansberry did not flee. He's actually the one who called 911 after this had occurred. He was cooperative with law enforcement and providing his statement of events and everything that happened. So I do believe that that is a mitigating factor for the court to put into consideration, that we do not believe that he will be a flight risk if the court reduces his bond to a reasonable amount to allow him to bond out. Since this has occurred, Mr. Stansberry has lived in the area since 2020, in which he was relocated from a hurricane, in which he moved with, at the time, with his children, who do reside here in Beaumont with their mother, in which they share joint custody. Since this has occurred, Mr. Stansberry has lost that apartment, where this occurred at his apartment. If he is allowed to bond out, he does plan, or is in hopes of planning, to live with his current girlfriend, who's here as well with his parents. She lives at 25419 Richton Falls Drive in Richmond, Texas. And that is where he hopes that he will be able to reside if allowed to be released out on bond. Both of his parents are here. They're residents of Louisiana. His father resides in Lake Charles. His mother resides in New Iberia. But Mr. Stansberry does hope to be allowed to stay at the home in Richmond, Texas, since he doesn't have any ties to Beaumont except for his children at this point.
What's girlfriend's name?
Jazzy Starks.
Does Ms. Starks have any criminal history?
No. No, she does not.
Okay. All right, anything else?
And Mr. Stansford also, he does not have any felony conviction history as well, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Malfino?
Judge, I had the opportunity this morning to speak briefly with Detective Jackson. Obviously, he is not here this morning. If the court would like to hear from him, I would ask your consideration, because we have one more docket. If you would like to hear from him in person, if we could maybe hold on this until next week before any substantial reduction of this bond were to be made. I went with Ms. Holmes and we both visited with intake yesterday. We're both aware of the situation that the case has not been brought in, although a warrant was walked through based on the facts they had at the time of the offense. I have brought that to the attention of the detective.
In the courtroom, every second matters, and every case tells a story. Subscribe to Court Diaries.
Not knowing if the case will actually fall in this court next door to whom it will be assigned. I have very limited amount of information, but I did make it very clear to Beaumont Police Department, and they were very receptive to the fact that this case, even if it is absent some of the documentation, such as the phone download that the detective mentioned, it needs to be brought sooner rather than later to the district attorney's office, in all fairness to the defendant. But as the court has very limited information about the facts, I think there is going to be a dispute with respect to an affirmative defense versus an intentional and knowing murder. I don't disagree with that. I think the sides are not in the same position right now, but it's kind of hard to read between the lines with a 3-sentence probable cause affidavit. I think based on what this court has done recently, and based on Judge, just on the fact that every single weekend we turn on the TV and there's a murder in Jefferson County, I think that bonds in this county to protect this community, understanding of the defendant's rights, need to be substantially more than they have been in the past. And I think the court is beginning to follow, at least this court, is that trend. I'm not saying that an amount of relief is necessarily opposed by the state, but I don't believe, just based on what I know, Judge, and based on everything we're dealing with in this community, that something as low as $200,000 would be sufficient at this point.
My biggest concern at this point is the fact that this is from November 7th and you guys don't have it yet. And I think obviously the nature of the offense is we're tired of hearing about these offenses. It's the worst offense we can have. However, I mean, everybody has the right of being presumed innocent, you know, and we've got somebody sitting here for 30 days without a case even in your office, much less indicted yet. And I think that's a big problem that needs to be addressed. And it doesn't leave me a lot of, I think legally, probably required to do relief, because obviously the state couldn't be ready because you don't even have the case yet. And so that puts you guys in a bad position as well. Ms. Malfino, I think the facts are somewhat important, and I wouldn't mind hearing from Officer Jackson, however, or Detective Jackson. I just don't think that at this point, based on the time frame, that I can not give relief. Obviously, I think that the lack of criminal history is important. So that goes into this, because if we've got any type of criminal history, we'd be looking at something a whole lot different. I don't disagree with Ms. Malfino about what's going on in Jefferson County, but I also have to individualize each case. So that being said, I'm going to grant the relief. I am going to reduce the bond in this case to, I'm going to reduce the bond in this case to $500,000. Condition of that bond, if made, or conditions of that bond, if made, are that Mr. Stansberry will be ordered to live in Richmond, Texas at 25419 Richton Falls Drive with Ms. Starks. Will be required to wear a GPS monitoring device and be on house arrest. Other than for coming to court, and for visiting with your attorney. Without my permission, you don't go anywhere else if you make that bond. If you've got doctors, if you've got different things like that, you get with Ms. Holmes, she gets with me, or Mr. Burbank, either one, they get with me, and then I either give you permission for that or not. Other than that, you're on house arrest with the GPS monitoring device. We'll know immediately if you leave the house without permission. The bond will likely be what it is now, if not more, if that happens. Are there any specific, I guess I don't really need to worry too much with a no contact, or because I'm going to have him on house arrest if he makes the bond. But obviously you're not allowed to be anywhere near that old address or anywhere near anyone who was involved that night. You're not to have any communication with anyone involved. So that all doesn't just mean contact in person. It means you can't talk to them, send message to them, anything at all. Do you understand? All right.
Judge, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want, will his children be allowed to, I guess, come visit him? His children do reside with their mom here. Well, they
Yeah.
joint custody, but
That's fine.
they can visit him.
Yeah, I mean, there's no allegation that there was any issue with regard to the children, or that being, that I can tell from the little bit of information I have. So whatever that, if they have custody, I don't have any problem with that. What were you?
Judge, I just wanted to ask the court to consider, for what it's worth, the order that he not possess a firearm or be in a home with any firearm. And also,
Yes.
I don't know how to request that you order this, but I would prefer, and I think it would be beneficial to the court and to the fact that this is a Jefferson County jurisdictional issue, if he obtains that GPS before he leaves here, so that
They'll put it on before he won't be able to leave jail without it.
somebody we work with, such as Johnny's, would be able to keep the
No.
court informed of his whereabouts.
It has to be, when we order a GPS, it's part of them getting out of jail. They don't get out of jail until they come put it on their leg there, I'm pretty sure. And so, isn't that how it works on GPS? I know not on drug patches, but GPS, they could put them on.
Before they get out.
Yeah, okay. So that gets taken care of through the bondsman, and they get somebody to get that done upon leaving or checking out or whatever happens there. Okay? So you are ordered not to be in possession of any firearm. If there are firearms in the home of Ms. Starks, they all need to be removed. So if you're going to live there, then you're technically in possession of that place. You can't have any firearms there. Make sense? Okay. We will... If there's any issue and the case is not received and indicted soon, obviously this is something that would have to be revisited as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You can go back with the bailiff.